what is kind of your desired outcome of this? Just do you don't really plan to like take it on, do you?
That's funny. I like that you worded it. You're not really planning on taking this, are you?
Well, just yeah, no, I'm curious.
Honestly, I don't really want to,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling he's going to be like, well, shit, that's a lot of work, And what I'm going to tell him is like, you're right, it is a lot of work. We're not going to be able to do our traditional SEO package for you. We're going to just do optimization for a few months,
Yeah.
or you can just do it yourself. There you go.
Yeah.
So, but if he says like, well, that's fine, well, then, that would be a good chance for you to kind of get your hands dirty a little bit and actually pull the trigger on these things and make some changes and,
Yeah. He's in the waiting room, adamant.
Okay.
How do you want to do it?
How about this? I'll kind of take the lead, but I'll bring you in and allow you to explain most of just the general overview of the document.
Okay.
But I'll kind of give him the
that sounds
gist.
good.
Because I think I need to rip the Band-Aid off a little bit here.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna add him in.
Yeah.
You guys can't see me, can you?
No.
I can't even see myself.
No. Not unless you're doing a magic trick. I mean,
This is a new computer, and I installed Zoom on this like 30 seconds before. Okay, no, not to worry. I just didn't have the.
Hey, howdy.
There you are.
Don't you feel better now that you can see me?
Right, we do.
Right. Would you rather me just go ahead and do this?
Yeah. No, come back.
What?
Well,
so you guys took a look at the site, huh?
We did. We put together some notes. We had a look at some things, have some feedback for you, have some thoughts.
Wonderful.
We have a document that we will give to you. I think, Dallin, can you throw that in the chat for him? Yeah. But before we kind of dive into that, Mark, like really what I want to kind of cover or just mention is that like Google is very confused as to what your website is right now. What is really like the challenge that's happening right now is, Squarespace allows you to design simple website with drag and drop technology. Pretty sure that's their ad.
It ends up with all kinds of fucking spaghetti in it, right?
It like when you want to, increase the size of the headings and the font and the text and all of that, you're doing it because you want it to look cool, and you're hanging out in your website. I know what you're doing. You're customizing it. You're like, this looks good. Let's increase the text here. But what you're doing is you're creating different heading tags when you're doing that. And you're telling Google that this page is about this thing that you made the biggest, but it really isn't about that, So right now, when Google reads your site, it's just all over the place because it has no idea what it's really about. And the ranking,
I think that's what's been destroying it.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. 100%.
Good to know. Yeah. Bad to know. Good to know.
Bad to know. Good to know. So, are you familiar with like the heading tags and stuff and kind of how that works?
Not, let's pretend I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine too. So there is a hierarchy of tags that you can set on your website. Now,
heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 in Squarespace.
Exactly. Yes. And heading 1, as you would believe, is the most important. It is the top of the pyramid scheme.
And I've been using it as a design element, and really it's hey, Google, this is heading 1. Is that kind of the deal?
Yes. So like if I look at your page right now, can you see my screen?
Sort of. Hold on. Let's see if I can move the there. Hold on. Yeah, now I can see your screen. Yeah.
So right now, this is a little SEO tool. You can download it if you want. It's free. It's a Chrome extension. It's called SEO Minion. And what it allows you to do is kind of scan a page and look at the on-page optimization relatively quickly. And so when we look at your page right now, the first thing it tells us is that you have 3 H1 tags. The first one is like, I don't even know what it is. It's like an alternative text for one of the images on the site. I don't really know.
Right. I could, yes. Yes.
I don't even know how that got set. But then you have 3, right? You should have one H1 on
One, and it
on
should
each
say Maui tax preparation or whatever, right?
Well, whatever the page is about, it should be the most important. It should have the keyword of the most important page, basically. And so, looking at this page, like Maui.tax is a good, is for the homepage, your branding, which could be good. That could definitely be the main.
Right.
Some websites rank well for their main keyword on their homepage. Like for our agency website, the homepage is optimized for Hawaii SEO because we want to rank. That's the term that we're really going for. And so that homepage is optimized for that term rather than the brand. But it's more like, the H1 on that page is, expand your business with Hawaii SEO marketing companies, something like that. And then the H2 is kind of a supporting heading of the main heading, where you would take your main keyword you're trying to rank for and have another variation of it. So instead of like, if your H1 this page was Maui tax preparation services, it would be like the best tax preparation services on Maui, just a variation of that term.
Yeah, it would be supportive of it. I see what you mean.
Yep.
And these H2s, one of them's just a name and the other one's a piece of news. Yeah.
Yes. And you pretty much have this type of setup on every single page. Yeah.
This or worse, right? Yeah.
Or worse.
You're exactly right. You said it at the top, Nick. I've been using this as a design thing with absolutely no thought,
Yeah. And it's it's okay. Like that's how it is, when most people use Squarespace. It's actually, to be fair, it's not really set up for you to design it and optimize it properly. Like I'm sure if they had a button that said font size 45, 25, you would have used that rather than just being able to select the headings, right?
Absolutely.
It just doesn't exist. Why the hell doesn't it exist? I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, I think as far as I can ever figure out, and I'll make it short, I try to corral people, and because I think those design templates, they make them as flexible as they can, but you could break them. You know what I mean? You could get them to where they were unintelligible if they didn't. But who knows? Okay, so the thing is a wreck, is what you're saying. It looks nice on the outside, and on the inside, Google doesn't know what it is. It's like an alien monster.
It's like an alien monster. It's a great analogy. So yes, also for this page, for example, you have the title of the page, which is also the title description, which is like a separate indicator telling Google what this page is about. It says not your typical bean counter, which should also be titled, expert level accounting practice or something. You know what I mean? Something along those lines.
Yes. There's a place for something like that, but you would not want it in the title or the H1.
Yes. You would just want it as paragraph text.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis. What's your prognosis? Now, when we spoke, you said, look, I can give you for a short amount of money, and this is more than paid for itself. Just figuring this out and knowing how bad it is, I would literally have to go into, I think it's about 40 to 60 pages, something like that, and just iron all that up. Is that the idea?
Pretty much. And so we've created this brief for you, which actually gives you suggestions for each page. This is the existing.
Oh, you've cataloged it all?
Yeah, maybe you could speak to
For
that a little
all
bit.
the page? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I went through and I didn't do it for all of your pages, but basically all the links to the pages that are, right there on the website.
Yep.
And I went through and kind of made some suggestions on, a different title and then different description. And then further down as well, I have suggestions for the heading tags as well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we went through each of those and showed you what you have and then what you could change it to. And obviously those, you don't have to follow exactly what we say, but
Oh, God.
they're just good.
Yeah, this is horrible. It should be reading schedule an appointment, and it's got this image tag there with,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and again, that's just design. There's no telling what sort of nonsense I was doing to do that with absolutely no consciousness of this. Okay, yeah.
Alan, could you also explain to him a little bit about how we came up with some of these titles, meta descriptions, and tags? Just, I mean, you don't have to go into too in a detail, but just kind of a brief explanation about it.
Yeah, so there are some of your pages are ranking okay for certain keywords on Google. So it's not a complete wreck. So we made sure that, with these suggestions, they're not gonna, collide with what already is ranking well on Google. And then we also kind of looked at, your competitors and, like CPAs in New York, and we looked at what they're doing and what their titles are and descriptions are and heading tags are, and we kind of wrote things based off of, what other people are doing and what's working basically.
Gotcha.
And yeah, in more competitive, saturated areas, basically we use that as kind of like
To
a
inform
model.
your decisions of what you recommended here in these tags and.
Right. Because if you're modeling the most, well-ranked CPA firm in Manhattan,
Right.
you're probably gonna do a little better than the guy in Kahului.
I do want to look like the prettiest girl in Manhattan.
Yes, exactly.
About that. Yeah.
So these, what we've given you here in red on the right-hand column there are all, there's definitely some strategy and thought put into it. And, but it's not, you don't have, like, I know you like to have a little flexibility to adjust things, but I think that gives you kind of a fair amount to go off of.
Yeah. And yeah, that's plenty. I mean, the fact that you've given specific recommendations on, a handful or more of important pages will, if I decide to do this myself, will inform. Say I didn't decide to do it myself. Let's move to that part of the meeting.
So this, I mean, this isn't your average, like, bring on a website and optimize it, implement your SEO package type of situation. Like, in order for us to even do this, like, we wouldn't like start writing articles and doing backlinks. Like, we would probably have to spend a couple of months of our campaign to optimize this, and I say a couple of months, not because we're spending 30 days on the campaign, but like, what our normal time expenditure on our monthly retainer would be to get it done at like the $1,000 a month package that we offer is like the base level. So, I would say, like, if you didn't want to do it, I'd say probably 3 months of kind of just grinding on it and really getting, everything. Because the other thing too is there's no like real strategy in the setup of it, like there's no methodology behind the madness, like you really want to set, just to kind of give you what a better idea of what I'm talking about. I'll pull up, let's go to the whiteboard. Follow me to the whiteboard real quick.
Yes, I'm right behind you, sir.
Okay. All right.
Oh, look, it's the whiteboard.
Yeah, there it is. Hopefully it loads. Okay, so if you have your, your homepage, it's all about your brand. So Maui.tax, there really should be sort of like your core pages, which should be your core services. Every website has an about, a contact, what are the other ones? You have your blog,
Services,
of course.
homepage, blog.
Yep, your home, right? Contact, and then you have your services, which is kind of like,
And you're saying mine is all mixed up and it doesn't have a lot of cohesion.
yeah, it's just a little with ranking for local SEO in mind. You have to consider the geographical relevance and how you have this whole thing interconnected, so if you have, you have a page that's about CPAs, Maui, bookkeeping, Maui, tax preparation services, all those things.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm just throwing in random stuff.
You're really like, these are your core pages here, that you have. Let's just say, for example, that these are your core pages here.
Yep.
And, your blog articles and things should kind of be supporting all these topics. They should be variations of these things. What was our favorite blog article that we found, Dallin? What was it titled?
Let me see. Oh, I think I got rid of the. Hold on, I'll pull it up.
I remember.
Did
The
you
millennials are coming.
Post?
Oh yeah.
The millennials are coming.
Oh, did you like that one?
Yes.
With the selfie stick with the PC with the Mac on it?
Yes, I like the creativity and all that stuff, but your website, you have to look at it is an authority on this topic. And when you write stuff that are off topic and optimize it off topic, it dilutes the overall content on the site. If you have a bucket of everything related to being a tax professional, and then you dump in all this information about massage and body work and crystals and healing, you're going to dilute the overall topic of the tax situation, which is what you're going for, so
everything in crystals in there, man.
Hey, why did my video camera keeps freezing? So when you're thinking about that, like the creative stuff, a different blog, not the if it's tax or professional or business writing, then write it about that and publish that to your blog, but optimize it for that. And then if it's creative, you should keep it on the other thing because it's going to dilute your business.
Yeah, I underestimate the amount that stuff is read, and I never think. I guess I was thinking about this when I put it all together some years back, but like the heading stuff and stuff like that, I didn't know anything about that.
Well, it's not so much that the blog articles are read. It's, all Google can do, like it sends a bot to crawl your website. And all it does is it scrapes all of the text that it takes to compile this website. A website is text. It's code with text. So, all it sees is this text. So when it scrapes it, it has to somehow parse this information, and the way that you parse it and organize it is what it really tells it about. These heading tags, when it looks at all this code, the piece that's wrapped in the H1 is like, oh, this page is about what is actually in there. There's
like H1, H2, those are actual like HTML tags, right?
Yes, like literally, like it goes H1 open and then H1 close.
Right. And this website.
So this page, all it sees is like, oh, this is the H1 of the page. That's what this page is about.
Yeah.
So the blog articles, are the same. It's not so much that they're, people are reading them. It's just that you're adding, again, the bucket analogy of it's all tax related stuff. And then you have things that are optimized for, if it's political, or even if it's political, like it can be political, but it has to be political with the tax element, right? Like if it's news about the change in the tax law and the code and legislation, then that information is all going to be about tax, and Google's going to see it, and it's going to be like, okay, this is more word association, because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's all word association. You wouldn't find sentences and vocabulary words for like roof leaks and plumbing and sprinkler systems on a tax website.
Right. Well, I didn't have anything on sprinkler systems.
No, I know. I'm giving you some random.
Okay,
I'm trying to make the point so that when you're writing this stuff,
do you recommend just kind of maybe what about getting one of those content packages? Is that something that you recommend or that you do for your customers? I mean, I don't like those because I don't write them, but you're telling me, well, I hope you're having fun writing this because it's doing nothing but screwing up your search rankings anyway, so, I mean, maybe I just go more traditional, and do it more.
Well,
yeah.
Yes, we can write articles, but they're not going to be the articles that you want, but also something that you can do is just, why don't you write articles on the topics that are relevant to the business? So that starts out by, if you have this, the thing is like when you want to write about a topic. You're not trying to write to improve the ranking. And so those two things have to change. If you're going to be writing on this site, it has to have an intention to either provide value to the person reading it on this topic, but also be relevant to rank it. And so, yeah, I mean, you can do keyword research and write articles on that keyword research, because it, if you do the research right, then it's about, it has traffic, it's in your niche, there's low competition, then you write for a term like that.
Well, and that's what when I think about this, I mean, I'll say, I think I wrote that millennial thing about 3 years ago or something, it's like, I wrote some of that stuff for a couple of years maybe, and I haven't even been keeping up with it or anything,
Yeah.
I'd almost rather have, canned articles that I don't like, that are current and useful for SEO. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what we offer, for people. Like it's obviously it's a little more challenging for the medical industry, the legal industry, some, like if we're writing about tax law, obviously we're going to avoid that type of keyword. We're going to do more like tax, information, like stuff that you could research and write about. But yeah, I mean, like that's the problem we solve, right? Like we allocate a portion of the SEO budget to have somebody write articles on these topics. And, normally for you to sit down and write 5 articles a month, they're, 500 to 1,000 words, and then optimize it. Like that's hours and hours and hours of your time.
Yeah. And I won't do it,
Right.
But it was ranking okay there for a while for whatever reason. And it may have been because, I did some advertising or, whatever.
Well, you have relevance. Like there's no question about it. You are ranking for a number of things. I think you're number 1 for Maui tax preparation, right, Dallin?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like, so you're there, your brand, like the domain is good. Big Boy is good.
Good. Yeah.
The domain is there. Like you're there. So it's not, these just some changes. And I wanted to get on this call as more of like, not just the audit, but also education behind it. As you like proceed with this, you can have a little more intention and thought behind it.
Yeah, it's been very educational. I mean, just changing up those tags. I mean, that won't be, I mean, I know how to do that. I know, I know how to change those headings. But the thing is, though, you'd have to come up with, alternative, turn the H1 into, and then redesign it and all that other kind of stuff,
Yeah, and that is the challenge, right? Because then
Of course,
there's kind of a design element that comes into play too,
yeah.
which for us, it's not, we're not going to just optimize your site. Like, we're going to have to kind of make it look the same and kind of do the things that you're not really able to do in the Squarespace the manual way. So, it's
Yeah.
but I don't know, you might take what we have in the audit and make some of the changes, and you may see a pretty significant change in the ranking because you clearly are relevant. Do you have to make all of them? I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm going to take your information,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to do that. I'm going to, I'll work in time. I'm starting to get busy, but I'm never that busy, and kind of see what it does. And then if I decided to just turn this over to you, you've got you said it's $1,000 a month, right? And you
Yeah.
got roll with this all the time, keep it relevant, all that, keep it. So what would you guys do? You would take it to WordPress or whatever y'all use, or?
No, that's kind of like an entirely different thing. I mean, like, if you wanted to redesign your website and put it in we'd have to build you a new website. We would optimize your Squarespace site.
For the 3 months worth.
Yeah.
But for like, if I wanted to do, an annual thing with you, I'd have to get a website design, right? And take it to your medium, and you don't do it on Squarespace as a.
No, it's not really about that. I mean, we optimize Squarespace sites all the time. Squarespace is like, everything's a hierarchy. Squarespace is like, WordPress is the Lamborghini, in the world of ranking. And so Squarespace is like whatever you want to put there is the Subaru. And
So, right.
if you're number one and you have the Subaru, that's awesome. Like, you're outranking everybody. Great. But if you're number 4 and the guy in front of you has the Ferrari, you kind of need to get the Ferrari in order to beat him,
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, like in your case, you are winning a lot of the time with the Subaru. And before you go all out and build a new website, you might just need to optimize this one.
Yeah. It's a Subaru that's got the, like, running on half gasoline and half water.
Right.
Yeah. Right. My typical operation,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, why don't we do that? What is it? It's about $3K.
For a website?
No, for just going in there and doing all the optimization on.
Yes. Yeah, it would be, I estimate probably like 3 months worth of our retainer, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you need to sharpen that number up or anything, I mean, do what you need to do. Don't, do what you would tell me to do, with an eye to somebody who's going to kind of leave it alone.
All right, Mark, we will be in touch.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, no worries. Take it
Have
easy.
a good one, Mark.
Okay, Dom. Bye-bye.
Damn it.
You kind of knew though it's gonna go that direction.
I kind of did, yeah. I mean, it's funny though, because like, most people are like stoked. They're like, "Oh, I made $3,000," and it is good. It is good. Dude, honestly, it's good. It's good for you to, learn how to do this stuff and watch. It's a great test project.